Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. Today we are going to be talking about Temporal Vortex level 4. I spent the last few days, maybe a week or so since we've unlocked Vortex 4, just fine-tuning my team, and I know a lot of other people are using Ice Blast teams, so I wanted to bring attention to the team I'm using. Of course, the champions, the heroes I'm using, you may not have, but there are alternatives that you can work into these teams, especially the biggest one is Beldel, my exclusive Ice Blast legendary. You can swap her for Girthin, the Ice Blast Epic, and still get very good results, as much as it won't be quite the same. So yeah, I just want to have a little talk about my team, show that off, and show the skill timing so that you're able to replicate that as best as you can on your accounts. Before I do that, though, I do just want to say that the previous video I did for my January giveaway, unfortunately, only 2 out of 10 people have actually claimed their code so far. So what I've done is I've created a Discord server for myself. So I'm going to post a link in the pinned comment on this video. If anybody wants to get involved in that giveaway before the codes expire, you've got 4 days to join that server and react to the announcement message. What I'll do then is on the 19th, before the kind of probably mid-afternoon on the 19th UK time, I will pick 8 people and I will DM you a code for a giveaway. The codes do unfortunately expire on the 20th of January, so I just want to make sure they're getting used and somebody gets something from this giveaway. Going forward, I will probably use the Discord for these giveaways because it just makes it easier for people to actually get involved instead of just messaging me on Discord from a video. So yeah, obviously make sure at the end of this video you do just have a look in the pinned comment, do join the Discord and react to that message, and let's get that giveaway sorted for you. So in terms of Vortex, if we jump over to Temporal Vortex and we'll see how I'm getting on. So as you can see here, yesterday I did 49.7 million damage. That placed me, hopefully, in the top 50. We'll see in a second. Yeah, so that finished me in 36th place on the server, so that gives me a good amount of daily rewards. If we have a look at the challenge rewards, no, not that, sorry. The leaderboard rewards is what we want to look at. So yeah, as long as I'm, top 40 really, that's where I want to be. The 350 Echo Eclipse each day is really helpful and will help me in my server ranking at the end. Obviously, top 20 would be even better. And realistically, last season, I was more worried about top 100. So as long as I can kind of maintain this pace, I'm on track for quite a good season, just like last season. So yeah, let's have a look at the team. It's not changed massively since running the, since we've progressed through Vortex. I've had a similar kind of concept to my team, but over time it has evolved slightly. I'm not 100% happy with all of my gearing choices. I'm going to be changing that over the next few days as well. Now we've got the double legendary gear farming, I can start to get my gear into a bit of a better place. So first of all, I've got Garius. Garius is my Call of Lightning tank. He is still wearing the Cyril set, and this is because I've just not had the time to re-gear him into a different set. Before they changed this was actually working, so despite him not placing any debuffs himself, he was gaining the benefit and giving attack up to the whole team whenever anybody placed a debuff. So that's why he was in that set. He's built with a good amount of HP to make sure he's the Call of Lightning tank, and a good amount of defense, obviously, to reduce his damage and also to amplify his healing from his ultimate skill. As for the skill haste, it's not really relevant here because all I need him to do is use this skill on a 20-second cooldown. I'm using the Scarab Amulet just to help keep him alive a little bit longer, which at the moment isn't very necessary because my damage dealers are not tanky enough to survive as long as he does. And obviously going forward, that may be a bit more of a useful artifact to wear on him. Next up, if we look at my Jillian. So Jillian is my healer and my cleanser. So she's built with 253 enlightenment and a good amount of HP and defensive stats. She's wearing the Ancestral Protection Robe. That's just to take some damage off of the rest of my team, but also to help keep my Garius alive for more of the Call of Lightnings because she's taking 15% of that damage. In terms of artifacts, I'm using Mirror of the Living on her to give her an increase in healing when she's healing people with low health. This is because towards the end of the fight, realistically, my team are very frequently below 40% health, so it just helps to give her that extra bit of healing to top the rest of the team up on her ultimate skill before the boss takes its ultimate turn. So realistically, it's all about her ultimate skill here. She does obviously dispel 1 debuff, which is the defense penalty the boss places, and also grants defense up to help me survive for longer. The way I've got her timed is she's covering the ultimate skill, the first skill of the boss, and the Call of Lightning with those buffs as well. so it really does help my team to survive longer. That suggestion was given to me by somebody in my comments, so a massive thank you to you. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it does work very well, so thank you. Next up, we've got Vinyara. So Vinyara is my attack penalty hero, so I've got her running in the Cyril's set to give the increased attack whenever she uses her ultimate skill. And so this obviously would be great to have two people in this set to rotate that and get a better uptime on the debuff, on the buff, sorry. But yeah, for the time being, she is the only one who's actually giving me that benefit. She's not booked at all, so none of her skills have been upgraded. The only thing I need is this to be under 20 seconds. In an ideal world, I would be able to upgrade this to get that down another 2 seconds as well. It does really come in clutch just to help me stay alive a little bit longer. But yeah, other than that, she's wearing the Crown of the Unclean artifact. I do also have the Witch's Remains artifact on my Shinna, so that helps me to stagger it. So I have the chance to have defense penalty up at all times. Doesn't always work that way, unfortunately. It doesn't always land, but there is the chance for it. So my best run would be having 100% uptime on defense penalty. So next up, we've got Shinna. So Shinna is my enabler for my Ice Blast. So of course she is built to do some damage as well, but not a huge amount. I'm wearing the Gambler's set on her, and as you can see, she's got a good amount of accuracy, a good amount of crit rate, and some crit damage and attack as well. But the real reason for her being here, outside of enabling my Ice Blast, is the fact that she hits so frequently on her ultimate skill. She's placing Witch's Remains with almost guaranteed chances, because each hit she does, the 60% chance to land that debuff for 10 seconds. So yeah, if we move on to the last person in my team, and that is Beldel. So Beldel is built with 102% crit rate, around 130% crit damage, and around 6,000 attack. So she is built in the Inventor's set, so this gives her a massive damage boost every time she's using skills. Because of it being Ice Blast, she is using her battle skills so frequently that she just keeps almost permanent uptime of the full stacks of this buff. So yeah, the only other thing, as I would say, the artifact I'm using on Beldel is the Manticore statue, and that's because the battle skill bonus she gains is huge. Realistically, all of Ice Blast heroes, this is the go-to epic artifact. If you don't have some of the legendary ones, obviously Beldel herself has an exclusive artifact. I don't have it. I would love to have it, but yeah, she does a good amount of damage with this. Obviously, it would be way more if I had access to the legendary artifacts that are available. So yeah, the aura I'm using is the crit damage aura. I don't actually need the defense. I've tried it. I don't survive much longer. So if I was to use Garius's aura, the damage I actually gain from the crit damage aura outweighs the damage I gain from surviving that extra 1 or 2 turns. So next up, if we look at the skill timings, so as you can see here, I've got everybody's skill casting interval set to 20 seconds. That's because the boss's rotation lasts for a full 20 seconds. So each of these skills will be used every 20 seconds. So I've got my Vinyara first of all, so she's going at 14.89 seconds. So she's going just before this skill here hits. So that applies attack penalty for this skill and for this skill here. Next up, I've got my Shinna. So she's going exactly 10 seconds after my Vinyara as well, just like slightly less than 10 seconds after. So this is because it allows me to stagger the attack penalty, the defense penalty from the artifacts. So Shinna is going just before this skill here after the first rotation. So defense penalty then lasts till just before this skill, where Vinyara hopefully reapplies it until this skill again. So they are going every 10 seconds between the two of them to give me a better chance of having more uptime. My Jillian, as you can see, is 21 seconds. So the reason for that is, as much as it's a 20-second rotation, the animation for this triggers at 20 seconds, but the damage doesn't actually trigger till 21 seconds. So having my Jillian at 21 seconds allows her to place her buffs and heal as late as possible, allowing those buffs to last for this skill and this skill here. So as much as the skill registers, it doesn't actually deal the damage till a little bit later. So having the defense penalty on me until 21 seconds when Jillian will cleanse it isn't an issue at all. The only thing I would say is if you are replacing Jillian with, say, somebody like Asilia or Catherine, potentially you're going to want to adjust that skill timing to make sure you're getting the best benefit for you with the cleansing or the debuff management from the defense penalty on the boss. Next up, I've got my Beldel. She's just doing whatever she wants to. She's delayed slightly to go after the to make sure she's going every 20 seconds just after the defense penalty lands from my Shinna. So yeah, that's just her timings. It works very nicely, and she does a good amount of damage, as you'll see. So last up, I've got Garius. So Garius is set to go at 27.1 seconds, and then every 20 seconds thereafter. The way that works is this skill here is a double hit. So this heal from Garius will come between those two hits, and it just allows me to top my team up after the first hit before the second hit. I think if I didn't do that, I would potentially lose people a little bit earlier because the first skill does hit very hard, and I don't actually have, I'm not sure actually, I might not have attack penalty for that. I can't remember from my timings. We'll have to wait and see. So if we jump into the run, I will talk through the first couple of rotations, and then I'll leave it to run, and we'll talk about it at the end and talk about potential replacements for some of these heroes, and we'll look at the damage meter while we're doing it. So realistically, all of the damage from this team does come from my Beldel, but as I said at the start, you could replace Beldel for Girthin and you would still get very good results. So as you can see there, Vinyara has placed attack penalty just before the third skill damage went out. Covers the team for this one. And does it reach this one? No. So on the first skill, there is no attack penalty because Vinyara just doesn't reach that far with her debuff. Having somebody else who could bring attack penalty would be great, but it would be sacrificing too much in my team. So as you can see there, defense penalty has landed from Vinyara as well. And then once that expires, my Shinna will be taking her turn, and she'll be reapplying the stronger version for another 10 seconds. So it just allows a really good coverage for the debuff and gives you that extra chance to deal more damage. So I'm going to jump out, I'll let this run finish, and we'll talk about it at the end. And there we go. As you can see, it did do less than it did yesterday at 46.6 million, but still a huge amount of damage, and obviously will place me in a very good standing on the daily leaderboard. So yeah, in terms of replacements for this team, as I mentioned, obviously you could use Girthin instead of Beldel. That's the kind of the key replacement. But in terms of using Vinyara, she can be replaced for anybody who brings attack penalty. And so a few good options would be Rose. Rose is really good for placing attack penalty. Unfortunately, she doesn't do a full job on Vortex because of what we all assume is a bug, but apparently is working intended. So she won't do any healing or any dispelling of debuffs. Jillian can be swapped for Catherine or even Asilia, the legendary. You just need to rework the timing slightly to accommodate for the defense penalty being blocked. As for Shinna, Shinna could be replaced by Bledin. Obviously, the damage you're going to get is slightly less because Shinna is just way better at enabling Ice Blast heroes. Garius is a little bit tricky. He could be replaced by a different tank, whether that be somebody like Clovis to bring the attack penalty, which would free up an additional spot from your Vinyara spot. So there are different options that you could look into bringing into this team, but this is what I found works the best. This would go to another level as well if I was able to get my hands on some more legendary artifacts like the staff for Garius to give the shields when he's overhealing. But unfortunately, I've only had one dupe so far from 1 and a bit seasons, so Witch's Remains does remain to be my only legendary artifact. But that is all for today, guys. I do just want to say, obviously, a massive thank you for watching my video today. And if you are interested in getting involved in the giveaway, like I said, it's very short notice now. There's a few days left on it, so do join my Discord, react to the message in the announcement channel, and yeah, I'll make sure I draw the giveaway result in a few days' time and get you those codes before they expire. So I'll see you in the next video.